Jailed for life, the woman who blasted her love rival to death and went blind after she was arrested. A top union official accuses a strike-hit bus company of cheating its workers. And the Wayne Smith killing, a 14-year-old is charged with manslaughter.
Good evening. Also in Northern Life tonight, Duncan Wood will be looking at the dramatic end to the football season. And we find out how customs officers are keeping hot on the trail of international drug traffickers.
One of the most bizarre murder cases ever investigated by North Yorkshire Police came to an end today. Jilted bride-to-be Yvonne Slightholme, who went blind after she was arrested, has been found guilty of the murder of farmer's wife James Smith at Malton. The murder took place nearly 2.5 years ago. Andrew Friend was at Leeds Crown Court to hear the majority verdict.
It took the jury 5 3/4 hours to reach a majority guilty verdict of 10-2. Slightholme collapsed in tears and relatives gasped as the verdict was announced. The judge, Mr. Justice Waite, said Slightholme, a farmer's daughter, had expected to become a farmer's wife. But when her fiancé, William Smith, broke off their engagement, she had wrought a terrible revenge to kill his new bride, Jane. It had been planned in cold fury, executed with ruthless precision. He said she had told a wicked and untruthful story, which sought to cast a further burden on William Smith by attempting to persuade the jury that he had lured hitmen to murder his wife. Sentencing her to life imprisonment, he said the fact that she was blind would hopefully not be overlooked by those who would be responsible for her punishment.
As Yvonne Slightholme begins her life sentence, Andrew Friend looks back at the events surrounding the so-called Broats Farm murder.
It's nearly 2.5 years since the body of 29-year-old nurse Jane Smith was discovered by her husband William lying in a pool of blood at their remote farm near Malton late one night. Jane had been shot through the back of the head, her clothes ripped from her, but forensic tests showed that she hadn't been sexually assaulted. Detectives investigating the killing described the scene as bizarre and baffling. The Home Office computer, Holmes, was used in the county for the first time at the incident room in Malton. Soon, inquiries became centred on the farm and the Smiths' close friends and associates. A week later, 36-year-old doctor's receptionist Yvonne Slightholme from Seamer near Scarborough appeared in court charged with murder. It turned out that she had been engaged to William Smith, but he had broken it off in order to marry Jane. Last month, the case finally came to court, but during her time remanded in custody, Slightholme had mysteriously lost her sight, doctors describing it as hysterical blindness. The jury was told that Slightholme became filled with jealousy and hatred, which culminated in the events on the night of December the 13th, 1988. As Jane Smith drove her car into the farmyard after finishing work, Slightholme walked up to her and shot her. William Smith, who had been playing football, returned home later that evening to find his wife's body. During the trial, the defence alleged that William Smith had paid hitmen to murder his wife in order to prevent her getting half the farm should they divorce. It was also claimed that he had been involved in the drugs world. But the jury was told that several days before Jane Smith's death, a gun had gone missing from the Slightholmes' family farm, only for it to reappear the day after the murder. What's more, traces of blood were found on Slightholmes' car, the same rare group as Jane Smith's. Slightholme said she was on holiday in Scotland at the time, but was missing from her holiday cottage on the night Jane Smith was murdered. Enough evidence, claimed the prosecution, to convict Slightholme, whom they described as a bitter woman scorned.
Andrew Friend will...
Rebecca, but they'll probably be a thing of the past after Rebecca, searching for lost tennis balls, found a potentially dangerous syringe in the bushes.
Just look what I found, a syringe. And I took one look at it, and I knew straight away that it was, you know, covered in blood, and I knew it wasn't an hospital syringe. And
so what did you do then?
Took her to the hospital to make sure that she hadn't punctured the skin, but I couldn't see a mark on her, but there was blood on the syringe, and they took a blood test, and I'm just waiting for that now.
What was your reaction?
Petrified. I mean, it's my child. There's other children playing here. Schools, lads playing football. For the person being responsible for what he's doing, believing such things.
Hospital authorities believe that the used syringe which contained a spot of blood may have been left here by a drug user. They say they have a strict procedure when dealing with their own used syringes, which includes incineration. This morning, staff searched the grounds but found nothing else. Now Mr. Skilbeck must wait anxiously for the results.